Hello and welcome to another episode of A Drink from Upstream. If you watched last week's episode, you know that I was sitting in this same spot and I was wearing this same shirt and I had the same amount of whiskers. You think, wow, that's pretty remarkable from one week to the next. Or you could realize that, yes, I recorded a couple of these in a row because vacation's coming and I need to get ahead of the game. So here's the deal today. Now, today is Monday, June 28th. You're probably seeing this a few days beyond this, maybe a few weeks. But right now, we're in the midst of the greatest heat wave I think that we have had in Western Washington for a very long time. And yesterday, after a very busy day, a couple of gatherings of the church in the morning, then we had taken some missionaries out to lunch, then we went to a graduation party. By the time we got home, it was about 6 o'clock, and my house was super hot. I've got a little AC unit in my bedroom that cools our bedroom, and then we've got one upstairs so that Sophie can sleep without sweating to death as well. But the rest of the house was so hot, we literally stayed in our bedroom. And so we thought, well, we'll watch a movie. We got a little bitty television in there, and kind of silly, it's too far away from the bed to really watch in bed, so it's really miniature, but we watched this movie because it's just so hot. And it was interesting because here's what I thought. It was a movie about some spies in World War II based on a true story. I can't remember what it was called, but it was with regard to the British government recruiting women to be spies because they thought that they would be less conspicuous. So I thought that's probably a good plan, really good. So we watched this movie and it was decent and all of that. But then I had this thought, right? So there's a part in the movie where there's this sense of suspense where things didn't go well. This guy was killed by the Nazis, and this woman who had been a spy was just very sad about that, of course, felt some sense of responsibility about it. And here's what I was thinking. At that moment, if this was real life, the person that was experiencing that would like to either stop their movie, like they're living this out as if it were a movie. They would like to stop that. They'd like to not just push pause, but they'd like to stop the movie. They'd like to say, I don't want to live this part of my life out. I don't want to have this be a part of it. And I'm going to just stop it. Now, some people, of course, would take a really drastic measure and they really would stop it. They would end their own life or something like that. And I thought about that, and I thought, wait a second. When we're watching a movie, when things get really tough in the movie, or it's real suspenseful, or it's heartbreaking or something like that, we don't stop the movie and go, I just can't watch it anymore. No, we know we need to watch the movie through, because whether it's a made-up story or based on a true story, we know that there's more to the story than that moment, than the heartache and the hardship or the suspense of that moment. And I'd like you to think about life in that way, that whatever it is that you're going through, experiencing, heartache, heartbreak, hardship, all of that, I want you to think about that's not the end of the story. You've got to keep living it out, because the Bible tells us, the Bible informs us that God He really actually is working all things for the good of them that love Him, who are called according to His purpose. And I know that verse is used a lot to try to bring a sense of comfort, but let's just think about that for a moment. It's a true verse. It's inspired by God to help us to work through difficult moments, because in His sovereignty, He is allowing things to go on in our lives that we would not sign up for. And yet, he is good, and he is working all things for the good of them that love him, who are called according to his purpose. And so we need to trust him in that. We need to not push stop on the movie and say, I just don't want to live this part of my life. But we want to realize we got to live it out. We got to see it through, and we will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. So I hope that's an encouragement to you today. God bless you.